हरिः ॐ शं नो मित्रस्यं वरुणः शं नो भवत्वर्यमा शं न इन्द्रो बृहस्पतिः शं नो विष्णुरुक्रमः नमो ब्रह्मणे नमस्ते वायो त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वामेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्म वदिष्यामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारम् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Now we are going to explain how do planets work. This is also one of the important chapters. Once again I am repeating you. So this particular book, Astrology and Occult and Spiritual Perception, it is like a complete book on spiritual practical astrology. What is spiritual practical astrology means? Don't think I created a new word. Spiritual practical astrology means, with the help of the spiritual astrology, how to live a life with the background of astrology in a spiritual way. That is what I call spiritual practical life. Spiritual means deals with the spirit only. It is a different aspect. Why I added practical means we live in the practical world with a physical body, dealing with the people around us, having a family, doing some job or business for our livelihood, having some ambitions in the life and ideals in the life, and we have to fulfill them. All these things are related, most of things are related with the people around us and in the society and with the society. That's why we should not be carried away by all these things. That's number one. But we should be able to understand what is what. That is number two. How we can take the guidance from the planets in our horoscope. That is number three. How to travel into the real spiritual side of life. That is number four. And how to fulfill the spiritual goals. That is number five. We call it as a mukti or moksha or realization or whatever it may be. Before that, how to work with the great people, the great masters. What is the plan of the hierarchy? When we keep all these things in a view, we should have a guidance to have a safe journey into it. The tool is the spiritual astrology. That is the purpose of spiritual astrology. That's why we should understand how planets work in the horoscope or in the universe or in the solar system. This particular lesson is connected with the how do planets work. The planets precipitate actions by stimulating us. This is the exact way you have to understand about the planets. They precipitate actions by stimulating us. And when something is there in the thought level, I remember well, I explained once about this in my previous lectures. Those statements from UG Krishnamurti garu. What he said, when a thought comes to our mind, then after a thought coming to our mind, then only we'll understand about the thought, then we try to understand about the thought. Before the thought enters into our mind, we don't know anything about that thought. It suddenly flashes into our mind, then we will understand that, we will come to know about that. You think about it, it's not a simple statement. I am repeating again. When a thought flashes on our mind, then we will come to know about that thought. Before that, we don't know anything about that thought. It comes just like that. So, if a thought comes to the mind, Then we translate it into our own language, and then we will try to bring it into the action. If it is a good thought, a positive thought, then if we bring it into action, it is okay, so no problem. If it is a bad thought, a negative thought, not dangerous to us and to the society also, then what we have to do, we have to keep the thought in the thought level only. We should not bring it into action. That is in our hands. Whether to bring it into the action or not, it is in our hands. Because we have the will, we have everything with us, given to us by the nature or by the God or whatever it may be. Whether to bring the thought into action or not, exactly it is in our hands. People who lives above emotions, people lives above duality, people lives with a yogic consciousness, people live with the higher planes, with higher initiations. They never entertain this type of thoughts, and they will never bring them into the action. Or before that, those thoughts will come to them. The ordinary human beings on the path, so many thoughts and so many aberrations and so many emotions. A lot of things come into our mind, and most of them they will be precipitated into actions by ourselves only. When we are dwelling in the physical level or astral level, or even to the lower mental level also. So what planets do, the planets precipitate actions by stimulating us. They will stimulate us. Why they stimulate us? What is the business to them to stimulate us? In that state, what the planet do is they expose us to the required environment so that we may come into conflict with the environment and make our experiences often painful with others. It is so interesting. What is the problem to the planets? Why they stimulate all these things? Why they create an environment to stimulate all these things? Why they create the required environment so that we may come into, they expose us to the required environment where we have to act. We may come into conflict with the environment, then definitely we will come into conflict with the environment and make our experiences often painful with others. We will have a conflict with the people with that particular environment, and it is a very, very painful to us, and we will have a lot of problems with the environment, with the people when we are not going in a right direction. Why the planets precipitate us all these things? Master is giving an answer here. This gives an expression to our emotions that are arranged in our tendencies in a beautiful succession according to what we have done previously. Why they create such an environment? Why they expose us to such an environment? Why the conflict is with the people? Because there are tendencies in us. From where we will get these tendencies? We will get the tendencies from our previous birth. That means what we did in our previous birth, whether good or bad, in our previous birth if we did all the great things and good things, all the time helping the people, all the time think about the journey of the soul, living a true spiritual life with detachment, or living with good virtues, if it is our previous birth, then what happens? In this life, planets creates an environment to meet good people, to meet the great masters, to have good friends, to have good wife, husband or children, born in a very good family, with a good cultural and spiritual background, They create all this atmosphere because we lived with such a life in our previous births. Suppose we lived with all the selfishness, all the hatred, all the self-centeredness, without caring for others, utilizing all the opportunities only for ourselves, lot of limitations, no charity, no service, no goodness, no compassion and no love, misuse all the opportunities. These are all the negative sides of the life. Then if we born again in the next birth, we have to repay a lot of things to the people. We have to repay to the society. We have to experience the suffering of it. Because of us, so many people might have suffered. We have to experience that pain and realize the result of it. Then we have to come to a stage to understand the suffering is same to everybody. So then slowly and slowly from inside, some sort of love and concern and understanding born from inside, and then we start a new journey with love and compassion and a loving understanding. That's why nature, that's why planets creates such a circumstances, such friends, such environment, some incidents, not to punish us, but to realize. So this is exactly what planets will do. This gives an expression to our emotions that are arranged in our tendencies in a beautiful succession according to what we have done previously. Beautiful succession means in an order they will give in an order. That is very important. One incident comes at certain age, another incident comes at another age, another incident comes at some other age. We meet some people at one period of our time. We meet some other people at one period of time. We will get opportunities at one stage. Again at another stage, some opportunities or difficulties or obstacles, whatever it may be. Again we will come to a contact with a great man who can guide us to be out of all these problems and live a systematic and methodical life. They are in a succession according to the tendencies in us. That is what Master is explaining here. So our previous behavior prepares tendencies in us. Our previous behavior prepares the tendencies in us. Planets, they will never create any tendencies. But our previous behavior create the tendencies. Then what we have to understand here? Our present behavior create tendencies in our next birth. This is we have to understand. Our previous behaviors created the tendency in this life means what the tendencies we have now at present, they will become the tendencies of the next birth. According to that, the situations, the family, the job, the country where we born, the environment, everything will be created. Planets, they will never create anything for us. We create everything for us. The past, present and the future. Planets indicate that. That's it. The succession of our previous behavior arranges the succession of the incidents in this life, and with these tendencies we explode others. With these tendencies only we explode others. This is a wonderful lesson number 62. Then, so every planet works as a police officer, a custom officer and a judicial officer. Yes, I explained about this previously. Unquestionably, the planets always impose their discipline. Why police officer, why judicial officers, and why customs officer means, if we behave in a different way against the law or against the nature, against the customs of the society, then what happens? They impose their discipline. But if he has started his journey in the spiritual plane, but once he started his journey in a spiritual plane, if he questions himself, Why am I born? In what direction I am going? What should I do? What should I avoid to do? What type of exercise should I give to my physical body? What type of work should I give to my mental body? What branch of education should I choose? And what profession should I take up in order to serve the people? See, Master has given how many points here. When once we started our spiritual journey, then the question come to our mind. It is a must in one of our births. If that is this birth, we are blessed. We are very fast in our journey into the evolution. What are the questions? Why I am born? What is the purpose of this life? In what direction I am going? Is it right direction or wrong direction? What should I do? What should I avoid to do? This is very important. In the spiritual life, we should be careful about one thing. What should I do and what I should avoid to do? It is called the discrimination. It is called the buddhi, a discrimination. If you know that what I have to do and what I should not do, we will pass in the first test, into the first initiation or second initiation. Right? What type of exercise should I give to my physical body? All these points are very, very important. We need a lot of explanation about it. People in the name of yoga, Hatha Yoga, they do 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 asanas. They will get the training from the Hatha Yogi, a yogic teacher. They try to do all the asanas, it will take a lot of time. It is not so good for the health. Frankly speaking, if you know the science of yoga or Hatha Yoga, because now we are talking about a physical body, I am telling you very frankly, if you have a very good yoga teacher, he will prescribe you 3 or 6 asanas, that is enough. How he will prescribe? He will think about your physical structure. He will understand about your health problems. He understands about your constitution. And then, if he is an intelligent teacher, he will give you 3 or 6 asanas that are enough to rectify your health problems, to make you fit physically. Then you will understand from the vital body point of view, from the pranic body, he will recommend you 2 or 3 pranayamas, they are enough for you. 3 or 6 asanas, 2 or 3 pranayamas, that's it, they are enough for you for this life. To keep the physical body fit and the vital body fit. That we have to know that. What are the asanas are useful for our constitution, we are not speaking about others. This is what Master is telling exactly. What type of work should I give to my mental body? How to prepare my mental body? Peaceful and calm and creative and happy and joyful. Some things we do something, we will not be happy, but by compulsion we have to do some things, but we will not be happy there. What type of work will give some happiness to the mind? Unless the mind is happy, we cannot be successful in any part of the life. Whatever we read, whatever we write, what we are in the academic world and the professional world or political world or spiritual world, if the mind is not happy, then what is the use? So some sort of work will give happiness to everybody. There must be some work which gives happiness to that particular mind of that man. We have to choose that. So, suppose I like the painting, I like the singing. I have to sing and I have to paint. That's it. It's no problem. But I should live also in this world by getting some money. I cannot get the money. All the singers cannot get the money by singing. All the artists by drawing some pictures, by painting some pictures, they cannot live on that. How to do that? We have to do something for our livelihood. We have to understand that we are doing that job for our livelihood, and the remaining time we have to spend in the work where we are so happy. This is the thing we have to live, we have to understand in the life. This is what Lord Krishna says, yoga karmasya kaushalam. You should know the tactfulness and ease in doing the works. Then, when you are doing the work, when you are working somewhere, in an office or in some other organization, for our livelihood, generally we will have the complaints. No, I don't like this work, but unfortunately I have to live. Unfortunately, I need some money for my livelihood, for my family. That's why I'm doing this work. Otherwise, if I'm having enough money, I would have quit this job just like that. We use all these words. It's a crime. This sort of mentality is a crime because we are living only with the money where we are working. We are feeding our money, we are feeding our family with this money only. The money what we are getting from our work and office. We should be very grateful to them. We should be very grateful to that work. You remember this. We should not have any complaints. You know what happens next? When you have complaints about your work, from where you are getting your money, if you have complaints there, without any gratitude, we have to born again and again in our next birth, working in an office under somebody with much more miserably. There is no meaning in it. We should never do this type of mistakes in our life. You please understand this. What branch of education should I choose and what profession should I take up in order to serve the public? These are the things when we are children, not children means when we come to 15 or 16 years of age, then all these things should come into our mind. Then we will choose a right job, we will choose a right education, right branch. Then there is a possibility for us to choose a right job in our life which gives satisfaction. Then we can choose a right work where we can do some service to society also. All these things we have to do at an early age. Even we can do it at the later age, but the time remains in our life is very less. Even then we can work. You see how beautiful it is. So this is the thing. So the teachings of the Master and the explanation of the Master and the guidance of the Master is so beautiful. So let us meet with our next lesson in how to plan its work. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.